Hi from New Zealand. We're back again. I actually said I was going to do a short video with an announcement, but I think I'm just going to do a video, a normal one, and then at the end do an announcement. So, okay, where did we leave off last week? Oh, we left off expect the unexpected and deal with it. Guess who didn't do that very well this week? Guess who kind of sucked at it for 2 weeks? Guess who didn't walk right straight through things? 20-year-old Dana was not listening to 40-year-old Dana. In fact, 20-year-old Dana took control. It was like Inside Out, where all of a sudden, 20-year-old Dana pushed 40-year-old Dana away of the control pit in my brain and took so much control that it was a freaking nightmare. Okay, so let's talk about what happened. And, oh yeah, there's a thing I'm going to tell you about coaching and team and you, so make sure you watch to the end. So, what happens when you're doing really well and you're feeling like, yeah, I've got life figured out and I'm going to expect the unexpected, and bam, you're right back feeling like that most insecure, most vulnerable, most unenough person, whatever your enough is, that you felt like once, one of your lowest parts of life. What happens when you're brought back to that moment by a phrase, by a comment, by someone's actions, or by a failure, like not getting a job you wanted, or getting broken up with, or, I don't know, getting passed over? What happens? Because that happens, and that happened to me 2 weeks ago. And you want to know the irony of it? The irony of it was, it happened on the day we talked about go straight through it. And so what did I do? I went straight around it, didn't deal with it, kept going around it, even had people say, because I mentioned, oh, someone said something that kind of hooked all my issues and I was really feeling yuck, but I'm okay. Kept asking, oh, no, I'm good. Just didn't even respond a couple times. So 20-year-old Dana was in control for 2 weeks, and it was not pretty, you guys. Emotions were high, stress was high. Not because of life. Life circumstances are awesome right now. In fact, I think a couple of you have been tracking with me. We ended up getting a scholarship that really helped our finances, which is awesome. My phone still doesn't work really well, so I'm on my husband's iPad, which I've been on it a little bit because I made 2 videos already that were horrible. So I wanted to bring you the best, which is probably good. I can't figure out the live thing. But 20-year-old Dana being in control was not pretty. So someone said something. I'm going to tell you my story because I think sometimes we need to hear other people's stories, because then it helps us a little bit look honestly at our life if we feel like we're not the only one. And I think sometimes we need to hear how bad someone failed or feels so that we don't realize we're the only person feeling like that in the world. And you aren't. I can promise you, whatever you're in, it's not your forever, and this isn't only you thinking or feeling these things. That's the lie. So let's title this one, Adulting is Hard. Because in general, life admin is really hard for me. I hate doing things like dinner and making lunches, and I hate all that. So we don't do dinner a lot, like I've shared. But adulting is hard when all of a sudden you find yourself smack dab in not adult world. You're back at that insecure world. So I was sitting in a church service, actually, at the faith that I follow. It was really good, and it was what spurred me to make these videos, actually, ironically. And so I was sitting there. One of the things that the person that was sharing talked about was one of the dumb things they did in their 20s. Unfortunately, the dumb thing they did in their 20s was the fear that I had in my 20s. So I heard his heart, I got it, like wasn't offended by him or anything, but one of the things he said was the type of girls that were passionate about certain things and that were going somewhere, and they knew that they just didn't want to follow a husband because that's what a husband should have, as a little follower, but really wanted to partner in life, those girls weren't attractive. And he was telling his ugliness of his 20s, but all of a sudden, you guys, it was like I went from 40-year-old Dana to 20-year-old Dana, because that fear that I had thought my whole 20s, because I wasn't dated much, and I can, now in my almost 40s, I can say, oh, it was because of this, I didn't really put myself out there, all these different things. But really, I hadn't dealt with it, because now I'm married and everything's fine. well, not fine. Life is hard. And adulting's hard. But all of a sudden, I went from adult, powerful, strong, believe in herself Dana to, I suck. No boys like me. I'm sitting with my 5-year-old. I'm an adult. I am a grown woman. I almost said a bad word. See, I didn't. Good job, huh, Mom? I'm a grown woman. And all of a sudden, I felt like, oh, exactly what I thought people were thinking of me, he just voiced. That's what they were thinking of me. That if she could only get her life together and get pretty or get thinner, she'd be okay. For the record, that is not what he said. He was dealing with his junk of his 20s, but it is what I heard. And that is the danger of these things right here, our minds. We switch things based on who's in control. So I want the strongest, most confident, most powerful Dana in control. And I'm using the word power in the sense of I'm able to control my own emotions and control myself in relationships. That's how I'm using power. And I'm not a victim. I'm not someone that needs things. I have needs, but I'm not needy. So I want that person in control, but all of a sudden, shoop, she's in the corner crying, and 20-year-old Dana is in the driver's seat of my life going, see, you really did suck. And look, now we should be sad, and now we should live here, and we definitely shouldn't tell anybody about this at all, because this was your fear, and it is who you were. So I think we should just hide. We definitely should not go straight through this. And I listened to her for 2 weeks, maybe even 3, trying to remember what night that was. Finally, after a big fight with husband, it wasn't a big fight. It was an overreacted fight on my part with husband. I went actually ironically back to church that night. And I went by myself that night, not with my little boy, with my husband. And I was sitting there and I realized I'm letting this thing control me. But then I was having a fight with 20-year-old Dana. No, you're not letting yourself control you. You're feeling these things. And these things are important to feel. Again, truth, but not adult. That is, I feel angry that I didn't get candy. I feel angry that I didn't get picked for this team. I feel angry that the teacher didn't like me. That is child. That is child Dana in control. So the next night, that night, before I wimped out, I courageously texted a friend and said, hey, I'm ready to deal with this thing that hooked all my issues a couple weeks ago. Can we chat? So I ended up falling asleep that night. We ended up chatting the next day. And we had a good talk. And all of a sudden it hit me. The irony. 40-year-old Dana self. What do you want to tell 20-year-old Dana self? That's the point of these videos. That's where most of my coaching comes from, is failure. Yet I couldn't face 20-year-old Dana because 20-year-old Dana was scary. Because she was really insecure and she was really upset and she was really sad. And all those emotions felt too much. And I didn't want to be an adult. I wanted to just be a baby and hide in my bed and eat ice cream and watch shows. Which I did for 3 weeks. So I got my little butt in gear and I sat down and I wrote out. And this was hard, you guys. This was what going straight through it looked like for me. I said, what would I tell 20-year-old Dana? And I didn't want to tell 20-year-old Dana anything because I was afraid I didn't have anything to say. But all of a sudden, these words started coming out because we are smarter than we think. So when your failure person or you're not enough person starts to take over because of something someone said or something someone did or something you didn't get or a failure, go straight through it, guys. Learn from my horrendous failure, even as I'm sharing these videos. And I sat down and I realized for me what came out of it is you can be strong and confident without those people's approval. And for me, it was a certain type of guy. Or if by some fluke of nature they did accept you, you would be on this vortex spinning and spinning and spinning and not being strong, but being needy and a victim. And is that who you really want to be? Or you work on being you. Don't listen to what they have to say. Don't listen to what is not truth about you. Be you. Figure out who you are. Be you, powerfully and passionate. And it was almost like 40-year-old Dana, and I would say for me, because of my faith, it was really like God was talking to me. And it wasn't like I heard an audible voice at all. It was just this feeling of this is what God, who loves me no matter what, would say is you can be this person insecure, very sad, needing of approval, victim, not adult, even though you technically were because you're over 18. or you can be strong and powerful and passionate and become who you were created to be without anyone's approval. And when I looked, it was no contest. I wanted to be strong in me. So it was a lot of work, and it was scary, and it was hard, but I'm so glad I walked through it, you guys. I'm so glad I chose adulting, and I'm so glad I admitted adulting's hard. And it's hard because we a lot of times become that insecure self that we don't want to be, but we are. And I didn't even choose. She just took over. So dealt with some more of my issues, and again, all those things I've been telling you, it's not your forever, expect the unexpected and deal with it, walk straight through it. Didn't do any of those in this situation. In fact, I was like, see, this way forever, I still feel ugly and undateable and unattractive and not enough, whatever your enough is. I know you know what I'm talking about. So, adulting is hard. This is what I would tell 20-year-old Dana. Adulting is hard, but you're stronger than you think. So just go adult. So, team, tribe, our little community we're creating. This is what I want to tell you. I'm a coach. I'm a coach through and through, and it sounds ostentatious and arrogant and whatever for me to say, but I don't care because I'm a coach, and adulting's hard, but I can do it. But a coach needs a team. If I'm not a coach, I'm just an idiot that's on a field or in a gym screaming at no one. They would take me away if that was true. So you are my team, and you get to be in the game because you have something important to say. The best coaches pull the best out of people, right? We've talked about this. And after the game, the best coaches don't celebrate themselves. They celebrate their team, and they say, yes, he played great. She did awesome. This is what she brought to the team. Their best was left on that field. Their best was left on that court. So you thought you were just watching videos. You have something to offer this world, and you are a starter, and you're in the game. And we're going to talk about that more, and we're going to utilize my big announcement. My big announcement, which you guys guessed things that were way bigger than it was, so this is kind of anticlimactic. But I have a website, and that website is just about finished. And our thing that we're going to do together is, and we're going to help other people do, because you have a voice and the world needs you. Just like I said, the world needs to hear me, the world needs to hear you, because your uniqueness is so unique that without it, the world isn't operating right. So this is going to be our tagline, tribe. Be passionate, be powerful, be you. And you are in the game. So more to come on that. And if you can put in the comments if you made, oh man, every week it gets longer, you guys. Mainly because of that story, so sorry about that. But put in the comments, what day would you best think a video would work? If it will come up in your feed or what day. And I might do a one-off video this week just to kind of see. But if you will, if you'll comment, put what day or time, day and time, would you think would be the best video to post this. And remember, you're in the game. So there's something coming that you're going to do. You're not on the sidelines. You're on the team, and you're a starter. Okay, bye from New Zealand.